series. And I'd like to show you a boss fight, but this is not a save file. So, and we have to get moving along anyway, so that's Temple of Klein. I mean, some of the games are a bit more difficult to get your hands on. This being one of them, I had to go through a friend who got it off of WCanvas, I think. Most of them, there's a lot that are available on PalletWeb and different places like that, but some of them are pretty specific, but it's kind of one of the keep your eyes peeled, and if you have any problems, or have had any problems, ask around. Someone knows.
I will say for a few places to get games, both official and fan games, tend to then when they're here, or whatever other cons they go to, since they do go to a lot of conventions, they tend to have the official games as well as some fan games. There is WCanvas, there's PalletWeb online. There's also, if you happen to go to the shrinebait.org forums, there's usually there N4za, who lives in Japan, who's a part of the JET program, I believe. And if you happen to find stuff you want and link them to him, he will be able to buy it for you. So he's basically a courier service, except he's not charging you obscene amounts of money to be a courier service because he's a nice guy.
He's actually how I got both Genesis of Heroes and Devil of the Klein there.
He's really good at finding stuff. He actually found me a copy of Gadget Trial, which came out back in 2002 or so, and it was unbelievable that there any existed at that point. All right. One last thing we haven't covered, I guess, is there are a lot of derivative written works, official works that go with this series. And the most recent one is the whole Susanan for Vintage Rollery. And I'll let John talk about that because we have more about it than I can.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of, for a little while now, Zun's had a, both an older series in Toho Sangetse, the three fairies here. Their names are Larry, Moe, and Curly. No, left to right, Luna, Sunny, and Star. They've had this running parallel with Wild and Hermit for a little while, but the basic premise of this one being the three fairies are not very bright. They go out and try to play a prank, and it usually winds up in disaster. It covers a lot of other general Toho lore, just kind of background information to fill you in, kind of world building, if you will. There's a few little important bits that we do learn from this. Most important thing we learn is that Yomo, who is half ghost, is afraid of ghosts. We also learned that Reimu should probably punt for the Pats, considering how many times she kicks these fairies' rear ends, which is typically how a story arc ends. And that's the tip of her toe is, or the tip of her shoe is probably the toughest material in Gensokyo.
It's second to the soccer ball.
Second to the soccer ball. It's drawn by Makoto Hirosaka, who is a fantastic artist. It's very familiar but very unique to him, and he was a big Toho person before he actually produced the Sangetse series. As such, it kind of shows in his work. There's a familiarity to it. But it's been going on for some time. It's kind of time to retire it. There's only so many times you can kick a fairy's rear end and have it be funny. So time for something a bit new. This is Toho Susanan Forbidden Scrollery. It started coming out in October. It's had a number of chapters released, but not too many. Focusing more upon focus more upon the human village, and the human village just really hasn't been highlighted yet. Zuna said that there's nothing, it's not a very Toho-y place because nothing Toho-ish happens there, or at least hasn't so far. And as such, wants to focus on it a bit more. The only real place that Human Village has really gotten shown before is in Imperishable Night, in which Kane actually eats its history and then thus hiding it. And so the only time that the Human Village has really appeared in Toho is an instance in which the Human Village did not actually appear. So the new character here is Kosuzu Motori. We'll go over in just a minute. As well as the new artist, Moe Haruka. I can't make some of these names up. So who is Moe Haruka? And I just don't know. She's been completely invisible since before this. Apparently she's very young and very talented, and you can see it through the art, and I'll show some of it in a little while, but it just doesn't, she hasn't really cropped up anywhere, so I can't refer to other works or general other things that she's done in the past. This here is Kosuzu Motori. She has recently gained the ability to decipher any kind of different texts, regardless if they're a dead language and no one speaks it, or it's something bizarrely obscure. She's actually named after a historical figure named Norinaga Motori, who wound up translating, who's a scholar who wound up translating a 1,000-year-old text when he was alive at the time, and he spent some 40 years on it. So another character with some background in there. Bright and chipper little thing. She works in a place with her parents called Suzunan, as in accordance to the actual title of the series. It kind of is a collection place of various books and different types. Usually, this is kind of what gets the other characters in a lot of trouble, is that she receives all these weird different types of books that a normal human person should not get their really hands on. They do get, they do other different little knickknacks on the side, so it's also, again, it's a little bit of world building. It's how Aki's book gets published. There's just all sorts of, this is chapter 1, and Marisa, who you should not trust with anything, is getting her hands on an Necronomicon. And so it's sort of just a place to buy books, which is typically how it's been used in the series thus far. Of course, this is the type of person you want guarding the secrets of the universe. She's very adventurous, she's very bright and spirited. She's known Rima for a while. She's introduced to Marisa as per part of the series. The first several chapters have been incidents involving her completely getting into the wrong thing, causing some sort of cosmic horror story, and then, of course, the heroines have to wipe out whatever trouble she's caused. One of the first few story arcs is actually bringing back Mamizo, who we covered a little bit earlier. Kind of an odd choice considering her relative lack of popularity. She just doesn't come up. She doesn't have too much in terms of work on imaging sites. Not a lot of fan art. She's only appeared as the final boss in 10 Desires, so it's a bit weird to have her just kind of reappear out of nowhere. And so I kind of wager that it's per Zun's art style, and it's kind of an odd choice, but at the same time, she's given a chance to kind of show off her ability. She pops up, and she's very deceiving and conniving, and in the end, nothing really becomes of it. So her intelligence and work as a mastermind really appears with some interesting things happening because of it, but it amounts to really not much of anything except some little plot elements. She reappears as a human because Tanuki has shapeshifters, and she'll sneak into the human village as a human. This design I like a lot more, and Moe Haruka does a much better job of drawing her than Zun ever could. Other little things, some demonstrations of her different art styles. A big pile of rainbows at the bottom is pretty adorable there. Different clothing, different little highlights there's actually a picture here where we see that Marisa has added a telescope onto her little house. Stuff being covered in the omake, by the way. He and Oakyu also is very good friends. Of course, being in the human village, hanging out with Kasuzu from time to time. Also, Sakuya makes an appearance just because, well, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit too. Just because she can, and because Ramilia, her little boss, is a bit of a thing. And she's a bit of a troublemaker and is thus causing, in the most recent chapter, is thus causing some trouble for Sakuya here. Also, there's an omake. There's a quick little reading of it, and I like Byakuren strumming on, or thrashing on a shamisen for no good reason, simply because that's just the art style at the time. And it's Kasuzu in her traditional childish mind completely misinterpreting a story and having Reimu and Marisa grumble about her general incompetence about it. And also in the omake is her misinterpreting various different events